The Church Calendar. Quite a number of works, both sacred and secular, that we shall examine in this course are somehow related to a cultural scheme whose broad outlines we have a sense of, but whose specifics often elude us. I refer to the church calendar, the annual cycle of feast days, holidays, holy days, whatever you wish to call them, and the annual cycle of seasons that for many centuries have charted Christian celebrations and observances throughout the year. The church calendar has 4 seasons: Advent, Christmas, Lent, and Easter, and each of them belongs to one of 2 types of seasons: major seasons and preparatory seasons. The major seasons are those that follow the 2 major feasts of the church year, Christmas and Easter. Although Christmas is largely regarded as a one-day holiday in our time, this feast day was once seen as the beginning of a much longer season. The Christmas season begins on December 25th, the date established for the feast by the Emperor Constantine in the early 4th century, and it ends 12 days later on the Feast of the Epiphany, the holy day that commemorates the visit of the so-called 3 wise men to the infant Jesus. The length of this season is explicitly stated in the title of a Christmas song that you surely know, The 12 Days of Christmas. Although Easter also is largely regarded as a one-day holiday in our time, this feast day too was once seen as the beginning of a much longer season. The Easter season, which is a lunar, not a calendrical feast, begins on the first Sunday after the first full moon in spring, so its date differs from one year to another. The Easter season ends 50 days later on the Feast of Pentecost, which commemorates the descent of the Holy Spirit on the apostles and the beginning of their public ministry after the ascension of Christ. The word Pentecost itself literally means 50th, and it is understood to refer to this day. The preparatory seasons are those that precede the 2 major feasts of the church year, Advent and Lent. Although these 2 seasons are not observed anywhere nearly as widely as they were just a few decades ago, vestiges of them survive in both religious observances and popular celebrations. Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, which means the coming, and Advent leads up to Christmas, the feast that celebrates the incarnation or the coming of Christ. Advent begins on the 4th Sunday before Christmas. Lent is an old word for spring, and Lent leads up to Easter, the holy day that commemorates the resurrection of Christ. Lent begins 6 weeks before Easter on Ash Wednesday, the day after the secular holiday of Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, the last opportunity that observant Christians of the past had to eat meat and to feast before the beginning of this long penitential season. Although you are not responsible for knowing the specifics of these seasons, you must be able to recognize what they are and to what they refer, for we shall consider works in this course that are somehow related to almost all of them.